start recording. And we need to look over there.
Okay. That?
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
So,
All right.
so hello, I started. So, hello everybody. This is Jan from AmiKit, and I have a special guest today in my garage in in Slovakia.
Hi, I'm Ken Lester. In the Amiga community, I am the author of Ken's Icons, something I created 20 years ago, and it became
22 actually.
22 years ago.
Or
2000. No, I created them in 2004. You're right.
2004. So yeah, it's 22 years ago.
So yeah, back when I was much younger and Jan was much younger, and have a lot less gray hair. But a big part of the success was Jan early on asking me to let him include them with AmiKit, and now they're included in a lot of distros. So
yeah, and I was actually, and I'm still very happy that I could include it because it make a big difference. Because AmiKit, thanks to your icons, look really beautiful.
well, and you also got a lot of custom stuff that other people. I mean, I guess they could pull it out of AmiKit, but they they weren't in my normal packages, and we did a little refresh in 2017. Just to make it look a little more modern, mostly just to enlarge the icons and round them off a little bit. Yeah, it's been in AmiKit pretty much since the beginning, absolutely since the beginning. I can't remember, there wasn't a release before, because I started, Ken's Icons in 2004, and they were kind of terrible looking, but Jan,
But the version I used was version 4. The version 4, no?
No, 4 was the last one. Their
last
version 2 was the first one.
Version 2. Okay, so first one looked terrible.
They look terrible, and I'm not blaming AmiKit because they look terrible even on. But AmiKit couldn't do 256 colors, or excuse me, Directory Opus couldn't. AmiKit could if you switched over to Workbench mode. Couldn't do 256 color icons, and at least at first, and so they looked a little odd. But I was referring to the actual design of the icons were pretty kludgy and amateurish. So,
but wait, it doesn't make sense to me. If they really look terrible, why would I ask you to include them in AmiKit? It doesn't make sense. So
I still see people using them today. It's a matter of taste, I guess.
And okay, so do you think the version one was terrible only, or
1 and 2?
1 and 2? Okay,
it's I had these oversized drawer icons that at the time I really liked, but they were kind of semi ripped off of one of the MorphOS sets. I mean, it wasn't ripped off. I mean, but I just liked the dramatic angle, and then the more I looked at them, I just decided it looked terrible. Plus, it was an odd size. It wasn't a standard Amiga size, because the standard Amiga size, up until recently, until 10 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, was 46 by 46, and my icons were just, like I said, they were terrible. They didn't have consistency, and a lot of the imagery was just swiped from all over the web, and because I wasn't painting icons, I was just making something for myself, and then as it progressed, I got better at it, and I'm really proud of the the final ones, and thanks to AmiKit, we have dual ping icons, because without that, there wouldn't have been anybody to program the drivers for Amiga OS. Because the dual ping is actually a format that Eros start.
We'll get to that. But still, I want to know. So you created the version 2 for AmiKit, or the version 2 was released before?
They were released before AmiKit. I created a lot of extra icons.
Okay, so actually, sorry, I just want to, because it's too long time ago. It's been long, so I must have seen version 2, and that's why I asked you for permission.
You asked me for permission, and I said no, and but you persisted, and you promised that you would get somebody to help make it, Directory Opus display them correctly, and you did, and they weren't that bad. It's just Directory Opus had some issues, but I'm trying to remember the name of the programmer that did all the Eros stuff and worked on that. Was it?
It's AFAOS,
Right.
and it's shortcut
Bernard.
for Eros for Amiga OS.
Right. And it was Bernard,
Um,
or Bernard. He was he and I, he was great to contribute, or to work with, because
let me check right away. What's his name? Because I am forgetting so many things.
it's been a while, but he was instrumental. He's the one that actually ported the Eros icon format to directory opus so that we can use it in AmiKit. And ironically enough, that the Eros devs, they had never heard of it. It was one of those things that presumably early on they had created, but everybody I asked, nobody knew what it was. But Bernard, was open to looking into it, and sure enough, he ran with it, and we got not only did we get 32-bit dual ping icons, but we got 32-bit theming, and we could do a lot more with the window theming, and he added true type support, I think, and and a number of things, and it's still the best as far as I'm concerned, for classic OS. I do appreciate all the attention that I still get for the icons, even though I do accept that they could be larger. We have the new ones are larger because we have bigger screens now, and but the vast majority of the weaker eye and higher resolution screens, and it would be nicer if they were all large. Always.
But hey, come on! I realized that you can have the best functioning Amiga system, but if it looks like shit, nobody would give it a chance, right?
Right.
And my goal in creating an AmiKit was like, I want something really, really perfect in a sense of like it's user friendly, and you can access many features really quickly. At the same time, I wanted to, so it looks good, and that was your that was your job and success.
I had a lot of fun. I kind of got carried away, because I don't think the intention was originally to do every single icon, which was, I think, a couple of thousand. And given that each icon takes at least an hour a piece, do the math.
So how many icons are?
It seems like I remember a couple of thousand. You can do a file count and see, but it seems like it was a couple of thousand. But I could be off one way or another. It was a lot, and in particular the tools. I believe it was the tools drawer was just. It was just.
But you had no idea it's going to be. It's going so far, right?
The big guy. It's one of those things where it's like I kind of had an inkling that I wanted to, it's like, I don't think you asked to do it, but it's like, I just kept going, and it's like, you were probably getting a little worried that I wasn't never going to stop, but,
because first
did eventually get it finished.
I asked you to, for your permission to use the icons. So it was not planned that you paint some extra.
Right. Because, there were.
And then I started to ask, yeah, that's what I did probably. Then I start to ask, like, can you do icon for this and that? And this is how it started, right?
You used to be very persuasive, and and obviously, I wouldn't have done it if I didn't want to do it. It was just
okay.
It was just a situation where and at the time I didn't know what I was getting into. It's like who knew? And then it was good for me. I had a lot of growth over the course of the time. Like I said, the first ones were just not good. And I still stand by that. And then the version 3 was the first ones that were the correct size, and the imagery was something I was comfortable with. And 4 was the dual ping. So basically I redid every thing. It was with proper alpha channels and, you know, in 32-bit.
So your first reaction to my request was no.
Was no.
And the
Because
reason?
they looked bad.
Because they looked bad.
Because
Wait, because
Opus could not display the colors, you know.
so it was not because you thought your icons look bad, but it would look bad
No.
on AmiKit because
At the time, I thought they were beautiful. In retrospect, I think the icons are ugly. Okay, but at the time, yeah, it was that directory. It's like Amiga OS could display 200, because they were, back then, they were 256 colors, you know, which was also hard on hardware back then. You know, it's like, it was, you know, it's hard to remember how slow hardware was 22 years ago.
in 2000.
And now we don't even think about it. We just throw more and more on it, you know, and I care about it.
And I think I remember how I convinced you. It was probably because I told you that I'm going to use this AFA OS, so the icons will look beautiful soon because they will be displayed in 24 bits or 32.
That does. I don't think the 24-bit thing, because it's like nobody, even OS4 didn't have the high-res icons back then.
And I remember exactly, like, I was like, when this program is included in AmiKit, your icons will look better than Mona Lisa. That's what I remember. And after this sentence, I don't know if it was the one that convinced you, but after this email, I got the permission.
No, we obviously Mason did a beautiful job with OS4, but we had 32-bit icons first. You know, it's like, it was, if you recall, he published his OS4 icons on I think it was on OS4 Depot. And basically, I think he labeled it what could have been, and they were very nice, but they were 256 color.
Mm-hmm.
And he created the 32-bit. He created a 46 by 46 set, and then moved on to 64 by 64, and completely left me in the dust. And so he has done really, 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 really nice stuff. And, you know, and I feel like I could maybe keep up, but it would be a lot of work. And he's done some nice stuff, but we have some nice stuff too. It's, you know, and it's no more dated than what OS4 has. So, you know, it's like, it's a little dated, you know, but it's not too bad. And, you know, and the front facing icons are up to date, you know, because we redid them in 2017. And I think the start menu has new icons too. So it's like, it was refreshed for project we were doing together.
So let me show you actually what we're talking about. We switch to this. This is AmiKit 13, and these are the icons, but these are new ones actually, right?
Right.
And bigger ones.
They're big. They're 64 by 64, and which is a more standard size that Linux uses and OS4 uses. And we did them for a project we did together in 2017 and 18, I think. And
so in 2000
and make it look good. And the
so it's AmiKit X 2017 when it was released.
Right. And we redid the toolbar icons on the top. Those are not my design. They're actually from a Linux, you know, they're patterned after a Linux distro that we were using for the project. And
by the way,
I like them. I think they are a nice modern touch for directory Opus. And
the toolbar,
those, because the images had to be custom made, you know, for directory Opus.
Recently, actually, I checked the older AmiKit version, and the toolbar was very colorful and actually distracting.
Yeah, it was.
And this gray one.
Yeah. This is more modern, and I think it still holds up. And the icons actually hold up better than I remember. I remembered them, you know, because
let's show how
this is what
the original icons looked like, because only these root icons are actually bigger and more modern.
Right. Well, in the a lot of the icons that were in the start menu too were created larger. I don't know what.
Yes.
I don't know if they're being used now, but like the favorites icon on the top is a larger icon, same design as the older one. And there's a few apps that you know we wanted in the system launcher. There's like I think it was called Rabbit Hole in a couple different places. You know.
So let me check the start menu. Actually, This is a new start menu in AmiKit X13, which is completely new because I got tired of the old start bar menu.
Windows 7.
No. It was actually Windows XP.
Oh yeah.
Windows XP, because that start menu.
Yeah.
But it was nice.
I
Inspirational.
like, you know, like
Yeah, and
time does march on, you know.
Yeah.
Like, so it's nice to have something more modern and, you know.
and I was always up to the modern things.
Mm-hmm.
But then I learned that a few people actually hate it just because it's Windows, you know. So they hate having a taskbar and start bar on Amiga, but I like it and I found it useful. Anyway, the old one was there for 22 years.
Yeah.
So finally I replaced it with this one. And these are your graphics?
Yeah, those are all mine.
All okay. And these are
There's a
big ones, or it's
no, they're
48?
They're 46. The deli tracker is not mine. It has a badge on it that's mine. Let's see. Play OGG might not be mine. The RNO
No, yeah.
mine.
You know how I know it's not yours? Because it doesn't have the amazing glow effect, which I was not able to reproduce if I try to create a customized.
I had my own way of doing the glow. It was different from everybody else's.
And I was like, well, why I cannot reproduce?
Yeah, it's a particular. But yeah, there's these icons still. They
I like them. Otherwise, if I didn't like them, I wouldn't include them.
And these are mostly mine. There's a few graphics. It's not mine. But it's still, you know, as long as they look nice, that's all that matters.
Yeah. Most of these are yours, I guess.
Most of them I don't recognize. Some of the apps, Amidon. I don't recognize that app.
Yeah, you're right. This was created later by Midwen, actually author of this AmiBerry emulator, because we are running this on Mac OS. With AmiBerry 8, by the way, and AmiBerry 8 is the first version on Mac OS supporting JIT,
which is really important, obviously.
Which is really important because I don't remember how many MIPS I had exactly with the non-JIT version on Mac OS. Around 400, I guess, and now on this Mac 4, it's almost 8,000. So,
which makes it the fastest.
And my Windows machine I developed AmiKit on has 3,500 MIPS. The Windows machine, and the Mac was always pain to work with because either I had to use the Wine edition of Wine WinUAE edition of AmiKit, which is like not very native one because it has a Wine layer and then a regular WinUAE Windows version. So, but it was fast.
Yeah, it was just, you know, a means to an end, you know, so you could get access.
But not that fast. And suddenly, when Midwen released the version AmiBerry 8, suddenly my Macs become the most, like the fastest machines in this household to emulate Amiga. But 8,000 MIPS, like I was like,
I was shocked when you told me that, because it's, you know, I expected it to be on par, you know, but not more than double, you know.
And yeah, and this Windows machine I have that achieves 3,500 MIPS. This machine is 3-4 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but it's still more than capable. So,
you know what I like, that when I show you the icons, you instantly know, even after so long time, which one is yours and which one is...
Even without my glasses. The truth is, I look at them and I can remember painting them, because every single one was, you know, its own thing. These are all mine, you know, these, but I mean, they're all, you know, for the most part, they're based on existing Amiga OS icons, because you know, that's the point, is to look good, but but also look familiar. So it's like a lot of them aren't original designs; they're just repainted to look nicer.
These are not yours. These are taken directly from Mac, because this is a rabbit hole. So I can launch.
Yeah, the only ones I recognize are the two folders at the top.
Yeah, because folder.
But they go well enough. They don't glow, but
They don't glow. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But
Because you know why they don't glow?
there's only one image.
But I can create dual PNG icons. I can create them,
But
using the same second image. But you know why they don't glow?
what is that?
Because I couldn't recreate your glow. Obviously.
Yeah. I'd like to say it's not that hard, but it was hard to, figuring out, what I wanted. But
These are yours.
not the AmiKit icon. It's
No, not the AmiKit.
That's your new one. I mean, it's similar to the old one, but it's got a more modern, it's the eye is a little less clunky looking, and I like it. It looks good. And
I'm happy you like it. And let me tell you, this is the only icon that I was able to recreate your glow. But this is because I didn't recreate it. I just used your glow behind, the icons. So that's why it looks so nice. Let me talk about this application. Actually, maybe you remember Morpheus, which is the application where you could set up some basic stuff, compute visuals and stuff like this. Morpheus is still there, and a new version, bug fixed mostly. But I was like, I need something that looks more nice, and this does, because it's MUI application. How you call it?
MUI.
MUI. Okay, same here, MUI.
But I also call it, it's like I think it's down to personal preference, because I've heard it both ways, MUI and MUI.
MUI, yeah. No,
And I think the first the users at Amy West were calling it MUI, but I could be wrong. It's been a while,
so basically it stands for Magic User Interface, right? Which in my opinion is the best looking GUI, best
in GUI, yeah.
GUI, graphical user interface. MUI GUI, yeah.
And it's I spent a long time painting images for that too. You didn't know I painted the graphics for that?
No.
I painted it for OS 4 and MUI 4, not 3.8, but MUI 4. I painted the default image set for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, and that's presumably what you have. If you open it up, you'll see. I have.
Okay, let's open it. And let's show another. Here's a mini menu. I call it MiniLauncher. Look at the left corner, and so you can click this and launch application, for example, Shell, or so that's why MiniLauncher or Quick Launcher. And it has more layers in a way. Like you click this, and suddenly there are more more icons. So I can go like press.
I kind of like that. That's
Yeah.
I didn't dig into that at all.
You did. You haven't noticed this one?
I didn't know. I knew something was
Because it's
but I didn't know what it was.
Because it's very small, and I tell you something. Guess what application is this?
I assume it's the same menu.
It's Amistad still.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought the other one was
This is
several Amy Start menus.
Yeah, but it's still one application. It's not like I'm running 6 Amistads.
Right. It's one application.
One application.
Menus.
6.
So it is. If you're not familiar with Amy Start and you try to do 6 menus, you're gonna lose your mind, because it's like it is. It's like once you get into it, it's relatively intuitive, but
Yeah.
it takes. There's a learning curve. So.
And also,
So am I right? That's Amy Start with
exactly. And it's the same version as before. Wait, our cat is trying to get out. So yeah, you're right. This is AmiStart, and the same version as in AmiKit 12. So basically, I haven't delivered any new update to AmiStart binary.
Mm-hmm.
It's just new configuration, and I'm amazed because this software is quite old, and actually it's in AmiKit since 2005 and updated for several years since then.
It's one of those things that when you dig into it, you realize it has a lot of options that we never scratch the surface with. So
and you can configure it in a totally different way. And this thing in the corner, actually, there is one more thing in the right corner, if you check, and that's reboot.
oh, that was a neat idea.
Reboot button. In AmiStart, this is called shapes. So
Okay.
it's like
I've never played with shapes at all.
me neither. I started to play with this half a year ago. So it's not a regular start menu. It's a shape, and you can edit this shape, and you can add icons and functionality. But it was quite tricky to get it work in a way that it's collapsing menu, like appearing and collapsing menu, because in reality, this one button is one shape. When you press it, so it's a combination of AREX script and more shapes. So the AREX script opens one more layer, so it is another shape, and then when you press this is another shape. So three shapes. The shape
FTP.
You can
file manager and something.
Yeah. And the collapsing was also challenging, to make it like this. Like one appears, another one.
Right. You want to make it look.
Yeah. But it works nicely. This is the default state when AmiKit 13 is installed. Amiga GPT is not part of it by default. You have to enable it. So, and you can do it very, very easily by doing this, and then enable Kit. What is Kit? Let me show you. Kit is actually AI buddy in AmiKit. But it's not just a chatbot. You can ask him to do something in Amiga OS.
So it's like an agenic version of AI.
Yeah. Can you read the answer?
My favorite is probably Blade Runner. Moody, precise, and gloriously drenched in atmosphere, much like a properly arranged workbench. Amen. Yeah, I like a properly arranged workbench.
What about Knight Rider?
That's not a movie.
True. Okay. So okay. Let's.
What's your favorite television show?
What's your favorite TV show? TV show or TV series?
TV show is fine.
Okay.
Better say Knight Rider. Naturally, I prefer television with a brain and a composition worthy of Denise. If I must choose one, it's The Wire. Now you can say, what about Knight Rider?
You know The Wire? The show? I'm not familiar with it.
Neither am I. I've heard the name, but
What about Knight Rider? Yeah, what about Knight Rider?
Knight Rider is deliciously 80s nonsense.
Okay.
All chrome, ego, and improbable dashboard theatrics. It is not subtle, but then neither is a
lower resolution workbench with icons scattered like confetti.
I like this guy.
These icons are called DualPNG because they consist of two PNG images spliced together.
Yeah, basically you just join.
Yeah.
You use the join command to join two ping images, rename them to info,
and this format is you came up with this format, or how?
I came up with the method of of connecting the ping images, but the format was actually created by somebody in the Eros team years ago, and
Okay.
it had apparently had fallen off the radar because as far as I can tell, nobody ever made any icons, and when I asked about it, nobody knew what I was talking about. But you know, it was a thought, just a thought that I had, and as far as creating the image themselves, I didn't really have any guidance. I was just a case of talking to Bernard and Bernard and
Burn.
and tell him what my idea was that I just joined two images, and he I guess he came up with a method for inserting the the various icon information, because you need some properties in there, and it's I thought it was elegant. Some people think that it's not the Amiga way, but
It's not what?
the Amiga way,
The same thing like the taskbar and the start bar. Start menu is not Amiga way.
I don't hear it anymore. I think the Ken's icons have been around so long. I've been around for 22 years, and so I've been around for half the life of Amiga. So it's like, I think I've earned my place, and
Yeah.
at least in the classic world. Obviously not in OS4. Even I did a lot of.
And the name DualPNG.
I came
Came up with. Okay.
came up with that. Yes, it was. I don't know. I don't remember what era it's called. They might not have called it anything, but
But DualPNG.
I was just trying to come up with a way. Yeah, and everybody calls them that now, and and all the Amiga flavors support it. It's some of them, like OS4 requires a plugin, but it's not hard to get it to work, and it gets along with everything. I think it's still in Eros. Not in Eros, in MorphOS, because I know there was some question about supporting OS4 icons or dual ping, and there was some resistance to supporting both. And I think I just annoyed the developers enough with my requests, and they had to cut me off, close the bar and send me home. But and MorphOS has beautiful imagery already. They didn't need me to do anything, and still to this day they probably have the most polished interface. Obviously.
You mean the Morphos in general?
Yeah, in general, that's an opinion. It's very controversial.
No. I agree with you because I saw Morphos with my own eyes once. Everything else, I know Morphos about this from YouTube and stuff. But once I saw it by myself. It was in Austria at some show, and I was amazed. It looks beautiful. The whole system.
It really is, and it works really well. And I went through a MorphOS phase, and I had I have a PowerBook laptop with a licensed version of MorphOS, and I created an OS4 theme for it, which floats around. I don't think it's actually online anymore, or at least I didn't put it there. But I've seen it floating around here and there, and I should probably just put it somewhere. But
we're back full screen. Thank you for your attention that you watched this video so far, and see you next time.
See you next time.
AmiKit 14.
14, yeah. It only took 22 years to finally meet in person.
You're coming here? No. This time I come to US.
Yeah, you gotta come to US.
Okay.
And meet up at my house. See you later. See ya.
See you later.